I don't know if it started yet. Okay, there we
There
go.
it goes.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, everybody.
Welcome. What a day.
Yeah, thanks for being
Oh,
here. We appreciate you guys being here.
yeah, absolutely. So I have both my kids are home and they have a musical coming up this weekend. And so if you hear some like scream singing in the background, that's what's going on. I apologize. You can't hold them down. Oh, Scott, I
Yeah.
forgot I was gonna wear my Sarah Boone wig.
What is wrong with you? How did you forget that?
Next time. Actually,
Hey, Adrian.
I was actually maybe gonna do my hair like this
Uh-huh.
and like this for the case today. I don't know. I thought maybe I could do a little Ashley Benefield, but I forgot. Sorry. No entertainment for today.
That's okay.
So, we are going to talk about the Ashley Benefield trial. I know we have a lot of different opinions out here, and that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Different takes, I think, different life experiences, different takes on this case, and I think that's awesome. I think it's a uh, reflection, probably somewhat of what a jury might be like. Although there's a jury of 6 in this case, not 12, which is interesting. And after the alternates were dismissed, I believe it's 5 women and 1 man. So, for those of you who don't know, Ashley Benefield is on trial for murdering her husband, um, Doug Benefield, and their defense is a self-defense case. And they initially tried to, in pretrial, go for a stand your ground case. The judge said, "Nah, you're not going to do that." Even though, oh my gosh, court. Okay, hold on, Sonia. Oh my gosh, I will take recommendations. So, okay, so yeah, so she's on trial for that, and they tried to do stand your ground, and the judge was like, "No, you're not. That's not a defense. You're not doing that." So now they're doing self defense, and a lot of different opinions about this. So we've heard all of the evidence at this point, and I always like to try to think like, um, you know, well, as a juror, but of course we have a lot of background info, so we're not really jurors.
Yeah.
um, I try for the purposes of this show to stick with what evidence we saw in the trial, just because when I'm trying to like predict juror outcomes, it seems like the better way to go. But I don't know. What do you think? What do you think about that, Scott? I mean, I know you've been reading up a lot on
I've been
various
reading up
things.
I've been reading up a lot. I wasn't able I've been gone on vacation, so I tried to cover like 5 days of trial today. And
Eh,
yeah, that
no
was
big
kind of
deal.
interesting.
No big deal.
So yeah, I think there's two schools of thought out there. Obviously, I mean these cases, Rachel and audience, they're so tough because you know you've got domestic violence thrown into it, alleged domestic violence. You've got custody issues. It's my opinion that both of the parents have issues going on, and it's hard to know where to draw the line, and sometimes that's really hard for jurors too.
Yeah, definitely. Because I think when you're in a situation where all of the above could be true. We
Yeah,
like to be black and white and think like, okay, she was either abused or she wasn't, or Doug was all good or all bad, or like he's the
yeah,
bad guy, she's the good guy. But it's not really like this, and it's a one of those cases. I feel like a lot of the things that people are proposing are true all at the same time, and
right.
so it does make it really hard.
It
Um,
does make it hard. Yeah, this case, I got to tell you guys, I'll just share this with you for a second. We have a case here in my county in Oregon that I investigated or helped investigate a number of years ago, several years ago, as a forensic child interviewer, and it is almost a direct carbon copy of this case here. It involves child custody. It involves mom trying to say that her soon-to-be ex-husband was abusing the child. Mom tried to have him offed, actually did have him offed. And so these cases are more common than you think, I guess, is where I'm going with that. And, again, I mean, our case here is very complicated. This case, it's going to be really interesting to see where the jury goes with it. You never know with
yeah.
a jury until you know, you guys.
It's really true, and so Dixie thinks this was first degree, even though are going for second degree.
Okay.
That's tough. Okay, yeah, I mean, honestly, and I think that's where I'm stuck on this, and I came into this just reading about it and stuff thinking, she's please give me a break. She's 100% guilty. And I'll tell you why why I came from that perspective is most of you guys know I work in child custody. And so,
Mhm.
these things that the state is alleging, like this kind of systematic alienation of Doug and not putting him on the birth certificate. I mean, there's definitely some very classic things that Ashley did to keep the child away from him.
Mhm.
And I've seen this stuff, and I unfortunately it's just a matter of time, I think, before I end up with a case that's a little more tragic. But
Mhm.
it's I really thought she was guilty. I thought for sure, like, this is a person, there's patterns of behavior, but as I listen to the evidence, I find myself saying, "Well, I don't know. I don't know if
Mhm.
this was self-defense or not. I really don't. I think it's possible it wasn't. I think it's possible it does." And with that, it's one of those things where it's like, well, that's reasonable doubt right there.
It
So
is.
I think it's very unclear with the bullet trajectories and also what some of the therapists talked about. I mean, I think there is absolutely domestic abuse going on. And remember, that doesn't have to be hitting, kicking, punching. I mean, it doesn't have to be
Right.
physical for it to be coercive control and domestic abuse. And so, do I think that she wanted to keep her child away from him? Absolutely, 100%. I
Mhm.
also think that she was abused. I also think it's possible she made up some of the stuff on top of that. But then I also think, you know, she reported him so many times and they did get one injunction, but for the most part, no one believed her, right? And
Right.
we could take that and say, well, no one believed her because she was lying and everyone thought it was ridiculous. Or we could say nobody believed her, and that's really unfortunate because then she felt completely powerless, which is why
Right.
she continued to try different tactics and had to try
Mhm.
to manipulate her way through the situation. So I have seen real life both sides, both.
Mhm. And Rachel just froze up here, so I'll pick it up for just a second. One thing that I wanted to bring up, you guys, is that, and Rachel should be back in a second. Hopefully, there she is. So,
Sorry.
one thing I wanted to bring up is that a lot of people, or not a lot, but some people are hung up on the fact, well, oh my gosh, it's been 3 years since they have really been, in the mix together. And, the important thing to recognize there too is that I've worked a lot of domestic violence cases in my life.
Oh, I think Scott just froze.
Did I
Guys,
freeze?
I'm so sorry. I don't know what the tech issues are here now. Let me fill in.
Am
Wait,
I frozen?
yeah, you did. I feel like we should start like just finishing each other's sentences.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know what you were gonna say though.
So, well, what I was going to say, sorry about the freeze up, you guys. Sometimes with we use StreamYard
Yeah,
to power our platform here, and I don't know what the deal is. We may have
I
to
don't
look at
either.
changing that, but anyway, what I was saying is that you can still be very afraid of your abuser 3 years down the line. And I
Yeah.
think it's important that people take a look at that, that just because it's been 3 years, that really doesn't mean a lot. You can
Mm,
still be in fear. She still knows his patterns. She still, knows how he's going to react. And, if you look at the case from a couple of weeks ago with the Border Patrol agent, kind of the same situation, you guys. She was abused horribly according to, the court
mm,
docs and the evidence, and she ended up
yeah.
being let off because her domestic violence person said, "Yeah, absolutely, you can be afraid."
Jay-Z is saying Scott, Scott, Scott.
I know, I know.
What
She
do you want
doesn't
to
agree
say?
with me. That's
I
okay.
know. I
That's
know.
okay.
And it's like yeah, I get it. I mean, Adrienne was saying, there's way more to this story. There is a lot to this story. Listen, these custody issues are not simple. They're not.
They're
They're
not.
not. I'm telling you, it's like I can't tell you how many times I've done an evaluation and at the end I'm like, all right, I don't really know what happened here. That the judge gets to decide that. So I'm going to say, if you think this, then these are my recommendations. If you think this, then these are my recommendations. Because, and thank God it's the judge that is the ultimate trier of fact here, because it is really hard to know exactly what's going on with these families and these dynamics. I think there is way more involved. Unfortunately, in trials, we don't get, we've talked to Josh about this. We don't get all the information. And
Yeah.
that's really frustrating. I mean, so much is left out. So I have a solution to that. Here's what I think we need to do. This is a reform to our justice system. You ready for this?
Oh my gosh, here we go. All
Should,
right.
should I put my wig? Should I put my
Yeah,
wig on?
live on the edge there. Do it.
I'm not going to do that to you. Here's what I think we need to do. I think we get boxes and boxes of discovery, right? We get 12 jurors. We stick them in a room with 12 boxes. We say, here, you guys look at all this stuff, figure it all out, sort it out, tell us what you think. Forget a trial, forget all of that. Just give them all the evidence and be done with it. What do you think?
I was reading a couple of comments at the same
Oh.
time, and I missed part of what you said. So run that past me again.
I'm basically saying we need to have a judicial system like those mystery box games that you get. So you just
Oh
get
my
all the
gosh,
discovery in the boxes. You stick all the jurors in the room with all the boxes. Say, all right, figure out what happened and let us know who did what.
that makes
Just
sense to
be
me.
done with it.
Sort of.
I mean, you'd have to get some motivated people like us in our chat and everything, but I
Exactly.
mean, that's what I think we should
Exactly.
do. Yeah. I mean, who like all this stuff gets left out. I think we need to be I'd give anything to read through the psych evaluations that were done on these people. I
100%.
really would. I think that
Yeah.
would be extremely enlightening. Um, so yes. All right, listen, Jay-Z, listen. I don't totally agree with you on this. Usually she and I are like
Uh-huh.
aligned here, okay? Um, in fact, God, don't kill me for this. I have to show this to her and I have to show this to Adrian.
All right.
Um, okay, don't look, Scott. All
Oh
right,
my
so
gosh.
he's gonna kill me. Look,
Okay.
take a deep breath. Okay, so would that convict if we put all these jurors in with all those boxes, Jay-Z? Would it convict her? It might. It might also reveal more details about what was going on in their dynamic in those
Hmm.
reports. Um, so that's what I'm saying is like we really don't have all of the information. All we have is what the jury saw, right? What
Right.
the court and the judge and the attorneys argued about and what they decided they could let in. You know, family court records are typically very much sealed for protection of the kids, which
Right.
is appropriate.
Right.
Um, so we won't ever get to know exactly what was going on. Um, so yeah, recording I thought
Hmm.
about that too. Why didn't she like if she was worried he might do something, but
Hmm.
in the scenario where it was self-defense, I don't know that and obviously she wasn't planning on it being contentious, I guess. She figured it was a benign enough situation. So, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I would be having cameras all over my house.
Hmm.
Um
100%.
I just can't get over the whole, like, bullet hole in the ceiling thing. I mean, he did intimidate. He did.
Well, and see, that's kind of where I'm going with. I know that Jay-Z doesn't agree with me on the 3-year thing, but those are all strong intimidation things. Those are all textbook classic domestic violence behaviors. The
Right.
bullet holes, the slamming your fist down, the punching the dog until the dog
Mhm.
is unconscious, all those things, you guys, and I'm sure most of you know that. That's all classic DV stuff. And
Yeah.
those things don't go away. That trauma lasts a while. And that's kind of where I'm going down that road with the 3-year thing is that trauma lasts a long time and you don't forget and you recognize the signs. And, I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I wasn't there, but that's kind of my
Right.
take. As a defense attorney, if I was a defense attorney, I would totally go down that road.
Yeah. And I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what it's like to be in a situation where feel like I need to draw a gun and somebody's coming I don't know. Do I fire once? Do I fire the whole all 6 rounds? I don't know. Like I don't know what it's like to be in that emotional place with a gun in my hand.
I think it
Um
varies from person to person.
yeah, so like Dixie was saying, like she shot him while he was on the ground, like when his leg slipped and she shot his leg, I don't know. Did she close her eyes and just shoot? I don't know. It's hard for me to have that be a deciding factor, I guess,
Hmm.
um, in what happened. So, yeah, it's really hard to know. They both okay, I will agree with you, JZ. They did both want
Yes,
power and control. I will absolutely
absolutely,
agree with you on that. I
absolutely.
will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's pretty common. I mean, that's going back to the case that I was talking about here in my county. It's the same situation. They both wanted control of power, and neither one was willing to back down, and it
Yeah.
ended up in a death.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I hate to say this, but I think for this jury, I really do think it's gonna come down to, their own personal backgrounds.
hmm
It is. You're gonna view this case through your own lens of what you have seen to be true in your past. You know, if any of these people have had any experience with domestic violence of anyone, if they've ever been even trained in domestic violence, the wheel of power and control, um, or is it, you know, someone who is completely naive to any of this stuff? Um,
right.
it's gonna make a big difference, I think.
I
And
agree.
y although the judge's instruction, you can't make determinations based on whether or not you like an attorney that's presenting or not. I
Right.
think all of these attorneys had potential for the jurors to be like, "Oh my god," it's like it makes
Yeah.
such a difference how they present. Oh, Sonia, the status is there we are in verdict watch right now. So the, closing arguments were today.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. They asked
yeah,
to work late, Sonia,
yeah,
intentionally, and we all know, guys, that a lot of times when juries do that, they're at a place where maybe they can see either getting close to a verdict or
mhm.
getting a verdict. So
Right.
yeah.
So there was one jury question so far, and it was
hmm
whether or not Dr. Quintillo, when he was someone who worked with them as a couple and individually a few times, and he was the one who described Doug as hot-headed, having kind of a god complex, being overbearing a little too much.
Right.
And so their question was, um, sorry about that. Their question was about whether or not his opinions of Doug came from only what Ashley told him, or was it based upon what he saw, his own clinical observations? Well, the judge decided that's a fact I can't delineate for you. So ultimately, um, they need to ask for a read back of the testimony. Now, whether or not they know they can do that, I don't know. But the judge was like, "Sorry, I can't answer that for you." So they were probably
Yeah.
like, "Well, great. Why are we asking questions?" But
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
Can we
I
talk about
love.
her clothes? Yes, we will. Hold on, I'll let you read this comment, and then, yes, we're gonna talk about the clothes.
So, Adrian, thanks for this question. So, Adrian's comment, and you guys can all see it, is what about the age difference? Do we think that he was older and had more control over her, or do we think that she was younger and felt she could have more control? You know, I- it's a big age difference, clearly.
Mhm.
Um, I guess my short answer to that would be he has a history of this. His first wife, he assaulted her on their honeymoon.
Right.
So, he's been in this mode for a while. I guess I'm kind of speculating here, and I'm going to put it out there, and hopefully this will make sense. But he is older. He has experience doing this. I see it more of him being wanting to have control and having more experience to do that because he's older and he's been down this road before with a previous victim. That's my take on it. What do you think,
Well
Rachel?
well, yeah, I mean, look, I'm a woman, Scott. My take's
Yep.
gonna be if you have a 50-something-year-old man who wants to be with a 20-year-old woman, I mean,
Yep.
we all know why that is.
Sure.
Let's be
Sure.
real.
Yeah.
I'm not
100%.
sure he thought too deeply about it. He met a 20-something-year-old that he could be wanted to be with him, and he was like, "Sweet, will you marry me?" Like, literally 2 weeks in, so I don't know.
hmm
Pardon. You all know our mascot,
That,
Fern,
would-
who was
that would be
losing her mind
Fern.
in the other room. She shredded my planner, my schedule today, so I'm not too happy with her. I can hear someone chasing after her. Okay, sorry. Yeah, so I think it is an interesting dynamic though. I think it's an interesting dynamic for a 20-something-year-old woman to want to be with an older man like that, although there are a million reasons why
Yeah.
they might want to do that. Money, potentially, needing a father figure, that kind of thing.
hmm
But I will say this, regardless of the age difference, this was a relationship that started intensely. And any relationship that is that intense, that quick, is going to end that intense and that quickly. And that is exactly what happened here. I've never seen a relationship, and I mean, I'm sure someone out here can prove me wrong, but a
Mhm.
relationship that began that intensely and is going strong 50 years later. So, I think that's more of an issue to me than the actual age difference,
Yeah.
if that makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Like Adrian saying, 13 days in and married, that's risky.
That's
Clear.
insane.
It is.
That's stupid. Sorry for any of
Yeah.
you out there that did that. Maybe it's better for you.
All right.
I can say that's insane because of how this one turned out, okay? So, I do, yes, please, everyone hit the like button, subscribe to us if you
Yes.
haven't already. Okay, we need to talk, yes, we need to talk about the hair and the clothes. So, I don't think she needed to do all of this, but we're gonna be for real here, okay? So, she's a former model, a
Right.
ballerina.
Right.
You can't tell me she doesn't care about the way she looks.
Right.
She is not wearing those clothes on a daily basis outside of that courtroom. And while, yes, I do, I'm not even going to show you. I sent a picture earlier to a friend of mine because we were having this argument about did she use that stuff where you can like silver your hair?
Mm-hmm.
Um, or is that her actual gray hair? Because she was like, it's only just right there in a patch. You don't get gray hair right in a patch. It's like all through your hair. And I was like, no, no, no. I'm going to send you a picture of my gray hair patch. I'm going to show you
Mm-hmm.
what I think, though. I think she let it grow out that way. So people would feel bad for her. She would look more,
Sure.
she wouldn't look young and dumb. She would look a little older, but like, oh, depressed, I haven't gotten my hair done. And she looked very
Correct.
homely and very meek. Absolutely. She totally put that on thick. And
Well, and I'm sure
yeah.
I'm sorry, Rachel.
No,
I
go
didn't mean
ahead.
to
Go
interrupt
ahead.
you. I'm sure she was instructed by her attorney to do that exactly,
Yeah.
100%. That's what they do.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
hi, Lori Latimer. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
Shout
Thanks
out
for
to
being here.
Lori.
She did. She wanted to look pitiful. And it just kind of makes me mad, honestly, because I wish she just would have been herself and not put that act on because I don't think she needed to. I think the facts can speak for themselves regardless. So yeah, she was very much, oh, I'm cold in the courtroom.
Hmm.
But
I mean,
yeah,
people were speculating online today on Twitter. I don't know if some of you guys saw it or not, but oh my gosh, she's not eating. She looks so gaunt.
she
Her
did
eyes
lose
are
weight.
hollow. She did. And I think,
Mhm.
I mean, something like this will do that to you,
It
certainly.
could. Yeah,
Yeah.
the
I
stress of
mean,
it and
yeah.
just not feeling like eating for sure. So that might not have been on purpose, but man, the clothing, like, yeah, that was just like that's some homely stuff. Like
Hmm.
on one hand, you've got Karen Reed over here, the finance diva, and wearing her brand name designer clothes. And then you've got Ashley Benefield, who's like, oh, like the poor widow or something. Like it's crazy. I love that though. It makes such a difference. You got to think the jury's totally watching that too. But I want to know what you guys think about the prosecutors if you watched closing arguments today. Um, I'm
Let's
interested
talk
in what
about
you guys
that.
think about their demeanor and how they presented in court. Um, Adrian, you're going to have to rewind because I did a little bit for you that I'm not going to repeat because I don't want Scott to block me on all platforms. Okay, so just
What?
rewind later and you can see you can see what I've showed you. Wait, Adrian, what? Please, why? Come on. Listen, I'm sure, just got to find yourself a sugar daddy, okay? I didn't just say that. I'm joking. I can say that to Adrian. Adrian, you are a catch. You are a catch. No one has been worthy, don't worry. Okay, so the closing. So I'm just
Hmm.
going to go out there and say I thought that the prosecuting attorney's demeanor the entire time was pretty rude.
Yep.
Even if I don't believe Ashley, even if I thought it was on the border of unprofessional.
Absolutely.
It seemed very personal for her, like, um, you know, petty girl drama, like girl against girl kind of
Yeah.
drama. It was interesting. Yeah, the first one, yeah, she was really harsh. And it felt like when they became more both of them became more emotional about the closing, it, like, derailed. It was like they started out organized, and then it was like,
Mhm.
"Yeah, well, and she also did this, and then she did that, and then, oh, yeah, what about this?" And I was like, "Okay, can we, like, stick to one thing for a second?" Like, it was just very much like this little cat fight kind of situation.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, Adrian and I were chatting back and forth today on Twitter, and we were both kind of the same opinion too. And hopefully you don't mind if I put this out there, Adrian, but I'll speak just for myself right now, I guess. But you know, she, she's an alleged domestic violence victim, and I always kind of cringe when attorneys attack alleged victims when they're on the stand and mock them and make fun of them. I saw that as a police officer, but I saw it a lot more as a forensic child interviewer, where they would attack the victims of the crimes and make
Mhm.
fun of them and that sort of thing. That always really bothers me. That being said, I mean, there's two sides to this, obviously, but I just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah,
I agree with Rachel. I don't like it when, professional people like that do that to alleged victims. It bothers
right.
me. And I think it does look very unprofessional.
Yeah, and I suppose they don't wanna say, "Oh," like, a prosecutor's not gonna be like, "Well, I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt that maybe they are a victim." Well, they're not gonna do that, right? Because
Right.
their whole thing is she's not a victim, Doug is. However, I think there's a way that you
Mhm.
can speak to somebody and be professional, like, uh, look at Kappelman, who's been putting away the Adelson family, Georgia. Clearly, she doesn't fall for any of their crap, but she's not immature about it. She asks her questions. She does it professionally. Um, go get him. Go get him. It's so funny. I love it. Um, so there's just a way to talk to people as humans, I feel like, and um, a way if you want to trap somebody into, whatever lie you think they're telling, you can do that in a way that's not mocking them. So, yeah, Adrian, no matter what side you're on and no
Mhm.
matter what you think, she totally made a mockery and I didn't like it. Don't mock any defendant, period. It's so bad, especially during a closing. Totally wrong.
Yeah.
Agreed. Agreed. I
100%.
think that hurts them, honestly. I think it hurts the prosecution. It makes them look like they had to stoop to that level in order to win a case. Otherwise, they didn't have a case. That's how I interpret it.
And you don't know how it's sitting with the jury either, you guys. You
Yeah,
don't. And
right.
if there are women on that jury that are sympathetic towards Ashley, that could potentially really tick them
Mhm.
off.
Yeah,
So,
it's not the way it's gonna lock them in harder against your side, and if you're someone on the edge of whether or not, I mean, something like that could really tip somebody the opposite way, for
mhm,
sure. Yeah, I think
100%.
it's really important to present, and then, I think that the defense attorney probably drove us crazier than the jury, because we heard
Mhm,
all of the stuff going on when the jury wasn't present, and that was the really annoying stuff.
mhm,
So, all the objections and, things evidence he was trying to get in, and then, they didn't necessarily know what the judge said, "Don't say," and then he would say it. I mean, that was pretty
mhm. I
yeah.
thought that the defense attorney overall, and some of you may disagree with me, and that's totally fine, but I thought the defense attorney, I think his last name was Taylor, overall,
Mhm.
I thought his closing argument was better. I thought he pointed out a few more facts, and yeah, he droned on, definitely.
Mhm.
He was hard to listen to, but he made some points.
Yeah. Yeah. It was like a he was after hearing the prosecutor's first closing argument,
Hmm.
I was like, he sounded like freaking amazing. So
Yeah. Yeah.
and then they got their rebuttal, argument, and it was like, "Okay, good. Good job. You can cut it off here. You would this would be really powerful," And then she went
Hmm.
on. I'm like, "Oh, geez, here we go." Like, you should have stopped 10 minutes ago or 15 minutes ago. Yeah, Sonia, you gotta go watch the closing for sure. Um, all 3
Definitely.
sections of it. I'd love to know what you think. It's just so yeah, and I feel at the end, the second woman just kinda lost it. She was just like, like, making fun of Ashley, and
Kind
I
of.
was like,
Yeah.
"Okay, I don't." You don't need to be doing that as an attorney. The
Yeah.
judge was fantastic, Dixie. I agree. I agree. Judge White, he's very normal. So that's like a big compliment if I say that about somebody, 'cause I don't deal with very many normal people. He's very normal,
I thought the judge was good too.
and fair, and,
Yeah.
clearly very frustrated at times, with Taylor, and rightfully so, but still handled it, I thought, really well. Um,
So Rachel,
oh,
are you watching the verdict watch? Because I have lost it on my phone,
oh,
and for some reason I cannot get it back.
well, let me see. I will
I don't know what's going on here,
I
but
get notification I don't have any new notifications, so I think it's
okay.
fine.
They
Um,
may end up going home tonight without a verdict.
yeah. So Laura's asking, what do you guys think about her daughter standing outside? So I don't know if you guys saw this,
Oh
but
my gosh.
yeah, and so this
Yeah.
is where I come in with like the child custody stuff and the use of children for these things. So the grandmother, the maternal grandmother, is outside with the daughter, and the daughter's holding a sign that says, "Release my mommy."
Yeah.
That's horrible,
Well,
awful.
it's disgusting and
Yeah.
gross.
That child should be home playing and not know at all what's going on right now. Terrible.
And that told me a lot about her mindset, you
Yep.
guys. I mean,
Yeah.
that speaks volumes of what she's like as a
Mhm.
person to use your
Yeah.
child like that. Again, going back to the case that I'm dealing with here that goes to trial in May, this coming May, same situation. Mom totally used the kiddo. Mom kept insisting that we interview her over and over and until mom got what she wanted the child to say, and we just wouldn't do that. And so I just
Yeah.
cringe when they use children like that to do those
Yeah.
deeds. Yeah,
And I think and I think that she has done this always with the child. I do think that, with
sure.
the trying to actively keep the child from the father, and
It's a
you know,
pattern. It didn't come out of a
it
vacuum.
is. It is. I mean, I really just want for my own sanity to pretend like she didn't um she doesn't know that her mom is out there doing that with her daughter, but I know she does. But I just want to pretend like she doesn't know that because it's just so terrible.
Mhm.
Um Someone held
So
a megaphone up to her today. Oh my gosh, she shouldn't even be out there. She should not even be out there. She doesn't At 6, you don't have a concept of what's happening.
that's
Like, she
emotional
doesn't
abuse on the child.
It is emotional abuse.
It
Somebody should
is.
they should be reported for that. That's terrible. Yeah,
Yeah.
kids don't have a concept of trial, judges. They have no idea what's going on. So that makes me really mad. I don't think that the jury probably has seen that. Well, I hope they haven't.
Mhm.
I really hope they haven't. But yeah, I mean, unfortunately, I don't know that this child had much of a chance with the parents that she
No.
had.
No.
Um,
And
oh,
that's a really true statement, Rachel. Just let me expand on that for a
yeah, go
second.
ahead.
So let's say that mom does get convicted and goes to jail, and this child is parentless. I'm not really sure that's such a bad thing for this child because, like you just said, the child really didn't have a great chance with either
Yeah.
parent. And,
Well, considering the grandmother's out there with her with the sign that indicates the grandmother's not.
exactly,
Sometimes, yeah, sometimes you're dealing with a C minus parent and a D plus parent.
yeah, yeah.
It's like,
I mean, that's where Child Protective Services needs to come into the picture and say, we're going to get this child into a decent home. That's a whole nother story. We could do a whole nother show on, but yeah, that's my take
yeah,
on it.
yeah, I know. It's really terrible. I hate to see that. I like to pretend like that didn't happen because that does say a lot. It does say a lot about this whole family, honestly. Oh, which reminds me, what do you guys think about the idea that Ashley didn't say anything to her mom about what happened? So everybody is saying Ashley didn't talk to anybody about it because she didn't want anyone to be able to testify to say, you know,
Hmm.
conflicting accounts or anything like that, that Ashley knew ahead of time not to say anything to anyone. Well, here's my take on it. 1, I totally think she talked to her mom about it. Absolutely. There's no way she didn't say to her mom what happened. And I think that the attorney who was with her when she was questioned, pretty quickly, told her, "Do not talk about this to anybody anymore," and then she shut up. But I absolutely believe that she told her mom about this, and her mom lied on the
Mhm.
stand. It's just it's not even remotely possible that she didn't talk to her mom about this.
Mhm.
It just isn't. I have
Yeah.
no evidence to back that up other than I as a mom and as a child, I just don't believe it. Um, yeah, and then there's Eva who I
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
did you see her testify, Scott? I thought she was so mature on the stand.
She was
And
very mature on
then
the stand. She seemed
yeah.
very supportive of dad. And that's I didn't see a lot of that. That's the whole part of trying to catch up on a 5-day trial after being on vacation. I missed some of that, but
Yeah,
um,
and
yeah.
her
So
clo
I'm
go
sorry,
ahead.
Adrian's saying that Eva's been really crazy on social media. Her TikTok's crazy. She's very open on social media.
I don't know what's gonna happen because I thought that the judge did kind of give her an admonition. Yeah, my son, he likes to come creep in and make a little appearance, my love bug. Um, so, the judge she was still under subpoena, and the judge was like, um, "You can't be like, don't talk about the trial, don't whatever." Well, she got, like, approached by a reporter, and I guess she didn't talk about her testimony, but she acknowledged that she had testified to a reporter, and then she went on her TikTok account, saying, "Well, okay, I just testified. It wasn't as bad as I thought it would be, whatever." And then she had a shirt on. Someone remind me what it said. I can't remember.
I can't
Oh,
either.
it was like my dad got murdered, and all I got was this T-shirt or something like that, something to
Okay.
that effect. And so yeah, she was like all over. So I thought when she got called back up, to the stand, I mean, they just asked her, like, to identify her dad in this one picture, but I thought the judge was gonna ream her out. I don't know that anything's gonna happen with that or not. She owns her own, clothing company based on her own artistic design, so I've, of course, been trolling around looking at her stuff, and it's really cute. But, yeah, she was kind of a mess after her testimony. It was surprised me. It really surprised me.
So Adrian's saying that she's very, very chatty. So I haven't seen that, Adrian. What kind of things are we talking about here? I have not seen that.
Oh gosh, you just tagged me in that. Oh my gosh, no, Lori. Oh, I don't even wanna look. I'll look though. That's terrible. Yeah, she's very talking all about, "Oh, my stepmom murdered my dad," and the testimony, and it's just, she's young. She's
Hmm.
immature, but
I see.
it's like I see a lot of masking of emotion too, though. It's all like, let's
Sure.
add humor to this devastating situation, you know?
Hmm. Hmm.
Kind of like, haha, like, look at my funny t-shirt, but it's clearly this has to be very painful for her.
That's sometimes how younger kids cope. I mean, we both
Yeah,
know that.
yeah. The dance
Yeah.
school's gone. No, they had all these people signed up to be in it and then just closed it. And so these people that thought they had positions in this school
Hmm.
were dropped is bad. It was really bad. So no, that school, the dance school is no longer. Um, see what else we got here.
Yeah.
Yeah, her mother had to know. Her mom was at the park with the little girl, right? And so when the mom and daughter came back, like, she had killed her husband. She had killed Doug. And so you're telling me that there was no conversation after that about it? Let's also talk about this chick that she went to go live with. So she went to go live with this therapist who apparently the therapist characterized their relationship as strictly professional, but Ashley went and lived with her after this happened. Like, that's no longer
Hmm.
professional relationships. I don't know what crack they're smoking down in Florida,
It's
but,
not. Yeah.
um, that was just weird and wild to me. And she said that Ashley never said anything to her about it either. So, I don't know. Maybe yeah, that woman was really weird, and the fact that someone I don't know, I feel like that needs to be I'm surprised if that hadn't been reported.
Right.
That's just you can't have a patient come live with you after they kill someone.
Correct. Yeah.
That's not okay. So Carrie, is that the therapist
Hi, Carrie.
that you're talking about? Because that's not like we can't have so I mean, the ethics code talks about dual relationships.
Sure.
And those are, relationships where one would conflict with the other. Like, I can't be my best friend's therapist.
Hmm.
Those two things conflict with one another, and it can be harmful, right, to the person. And so I don't know, it wasn't very clear if Ashley was in treatment at the time with this woman. And then the woman was like, "Oh, okay, come live with me." I just can't
Hmm.
imagine a world in which I would ever suggest that to a patient. My God. I hardly even want, like, my own extended family to come up to my house. So, yeah, not professional at
Not
all, and I
professional,
would
Laura.
say very
Yep.
unethical.
Yeah.
Even if she said, "Okay, well, you come li like, we can no longer I'm referring you out to a different provider, but you can live with me." Even
Right.
that's not ethical. That's bad, 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 and so it concerns me with the concern there, while maybe that was helpful to Ashley in terms of she needed somewhere to go, I think that concerns me about that professional's decisions with other patients and what else she might be willing
Hmm.
to overstep on boundaries. That was
Hmm.
I do know that they had tried to get her records, that therapist's records, and I can't remember exactly what happened. Um, she didn't wanna have to release them. So when that happens, I can kinda just give a brief overview of what happens
Yeah.
with that. So as
Do.
if I'm a therapist and an attorney subpoenas my records, and let's say that, so I'll back up a second. If a patient tells me that they are going to hurt someone, like let's say Ashley came to her therapist and said, I'm going to kill Doug," we have what's called a duty to warn. And so we would be able to break confidentiality to warn that person that, that this other person has said they're going to kill you, so you need to be careful or whatever you're going to do about it. If a client comes in and says to me, "I shot my husband last night and killed him, and I planned the whole thing, but I'm gonna tell them it was self-defense." I can't tell anybody that.
Hmm.
Confidentiality covers that. I cannot release that information. Now, I'm not dumb enough to write that in a progress note, obviously. But, so if my let's just say that I get a subpoena for, "We want your records," like the state subpoenas my records, and I'm saying to myself, I really think that these might be harmful to this person's case, or these could be harmful in general, or my patient has not consented to me doing that. What I can do is I I don't have to provide the records, but I do have to respond to the subpoena. So I can write a letter saying, to protect my client's confidentiality, I can't, blah, blah, blah. And then if they're like, "No, we need the records," then they have to go to a judge, right? And the judge can order me to release my records. And if
Hmm.
the judge orders me, I have to. Now, if a judge says, um, you can request or you can write the judge back and say, "These are my reasons," and usually they'll ask you first anyway, like, "What are your reasons? Why don't you want to release these?" And you can have a conversation. But you can write to the judge and or go to a hearing and say, like, "I'm worried about it damaging my client, blah, blah, blah." Sometimes the judge will say, "Okay, I'm going to review the records and then I'll decide." Sometimes they say, "Too bad, release them," and then you have to, but you have to take every single step possible to protect your client. Um, and ultimately, only a judge could force you to release those records. So that's like a whole thing or whatever. So I mean, it's possible that this woman did not want to release Ashley's records because she knew it would be incriminating. I don't know what ultimately happened with that. Um, so I can do a little more research. But having a patient live with you is typically considered extremely unethical and
Yeah.
stupid. Not just unethical, it's really stupid. Like,
Yeah.
don't do that. Any therapist, psychologist watching, don't live with your
Hmm.
patients. It's
Hmm.
bad. Bad.
So I wanted to address this comment here from Jay Z. So
Okay.
she's asking if we're both thinking that it was clearly self-defense. So from my perspective, here's where I'm at. I like to
Mhm.
look at both sides on this, Jay-Z. It doesn't really matter what I think. It matters what the jury thinks. I can see both sides of this. I can see that, yeah, she may very well have been a victim and was possibly to the place where she just knew what was about to come and she just went off and did what she did. I can see that piece because you can't really know what a person's thinking unless you're, totally in that person's mindset. On the other side of the coin, sounds like there was clearly no threat at the time. And if I'm correct, I don't think there was a weapon involved other than the one that she had. And so again, I can kind of see both sides, but that's
Mhm.
kind of what we try to do here on Forensic Intent is we try to look at everything and just kind of, you know, put it out there and let people make their own case. I don't know what the jury's going to find on this.
Yeah.
I can see it both ways. And, like I said, it doesn't really matter what I think. It's what they think. And you never
Yeah.
know with the jury.
And I'm typically not afraid to say what I actually think, but I truly don't know. I really don't know
Hmm.
if it was self-defense. What I know is that
Hmm.
the state presented physical evidence to say it could have happened this way, meaning not self-defense, and then the
Hmm.
defense presented some evidence that I feel like said, "Or the bullet could have entered like it could have happened like this, and it was
Hmm.
self-defense. It was
Yeah.
under those circumstances." And so I'm like, I I think all of the behavior surrounding it is bad on both sides. So I try to just look at that physical evidence, and I really think that there's more than one way that could have happened.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, inviting him over, yeah, I think so too, Dixie. I think that's
Yeah.
really weird too.
It's very weird. Very
Yeah.
weird.
But
I
but
want to,
but hold on, let me just devil's
yeah, go for
advocate
it.
this for just a little bit.
Sure.
Um, so yeah, I think it's weird to invite him over to help pack. I also think
Hmm.
she was trying to keep um I think she's trying to balance things to keep him from getting upset, I think it's sort of like in domestic violence situations, I think that the victim is typically trying to figure out how to maneuver and manipulate situations so that so things won't get out of hand. And for whatever reason, I think it's possible she thought, okay, like he can help with this. I don't want him to suspect that I'm like leaving, that kind of thing.
Hmm.
And also, she might have sent them to the park because, number 1, she, clearly didn't want him and the child interacting, but also she could have thought, "Well, maybe it is a safety issue." I don't know. I think I can see both ways about it. That's suspicious to me too, and I think that's one of the weirder things
Hmm.
about this, but, and they hadn't lived together for more than 3 years, but
Right.
in closings, even the state said, "Oh, they hadn't been together for 3 years, and then she thought he was dangerous? No way." And then said, "If you think they weren't communicating during the time of that injunction, then you're crazy." Like, they absolutely she said, "I presume that they were absolutely communicating and interacting still." And so I'm like,
Mhm.
"Well, which is it?" But I think that like Scott had said before, that emotional control doesn't matter how much time is in between it.
Correct.
He's still the same person.
Yeah, and
Um,
that just kind of spoke to
yeah,
Mandy's comment too. They hadn't lived together in
yeah.
more than 3 years. But Mandy, I've worked DV cases where it doesn't matter how long they're away.
Mhm.
Once that person comes back into the picture again, that abuser, they know the patterns because they were
Mhm.
ingrained in them. And you can easily be frightened of someone, several years later because you know those patterns. And so
Yeah,
I've actually seen that. The one thing I wanted to bring up, Rachel, before I
yeah.
forget about it, and I want to know what our chat thinks. I thought, and I didn't watch the very beginning of the trial because, again, I was on vacation, but I found it very interesting. And I'm looking for anybody's feedback on this. The state apparently did not call the lead detective on this, which
Mhm.
I find to be a little bit weird, but
I
maybe
think
there's
it's
more to
very
the
weird.
story that I don't know.
I
So,
think it's very weird.
what's your take on that, Rachel? Because I've never seen that before.
Well, one of the I don't know why. I
Yeah.
don't know exactly why. There had to be something that they knew was gonna be bad for the case, because otherwise that's like one of the first people that you call to kinda
Yeah.
outline what was found. I do know that there were some chain of custody problems with some of the evidence that was collected, but that was not necessarily the lead detective that would have been
Mm-hmm.
problematic in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
JC, I'm so sorry. That's so funny.
What did I miss here?
Look at JC.
Oh, there it
Scott,
is.
would you date her with those clothes or the real ones? Please laugh.
I'm
I'm
gonna take
sorry.
the
That was
fifth
so
on
funny.
that. I'm taking the fifth,
What?
Jay-Z.
Come on. Oh,
I'm not taking the fifth.
please, we all know what the answer is. But it is, yeah, Laura. So it is. It's very strange he wasn't called. So I might have to do some research on that because I'm really not sure exactly. But like there was DNA evidence. The state did not want that DNA evidence to come in because because they said there were chain of custody issues. But the defense wanted it in. So the DNA evidence basically was saying, so she had alleged that he grabbed her hand to pull her back in. Well, they did DNA testing on both hands, and the hand she said he grabbed, there was DNA evidence on it.
Mhm.
And so, I mean, you could say, oh, they were around each other the whole evening or whatever. I don't know. But the point is that there was some chain of custody issue. And then in order to make the judge said in order for this evidence to come in, you need all these people to prove the chain of custody to come in and testify.
Mhm.
And the defense is like at the
Mhm.
end of their case. I don't know why they didn't deal with this before, but the state was arguing to not have that come in. So there's some
Okay.
kind of shady stuff about the investigation itself, I think.
Yeah, to me that, to not call your lead detective as the state, and to have the defense
Mhm.
call your lead detective, I agree. That's a little bit weird. There's something behind that.
Yeah, there's a reason,
So
obviously.
obviously, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So, um, yeah, definitely, Mandy. This is going to be. I had a lot of people telling me like, I think this is going to be under 4 hours. I was like, I don't think it's going to be that easy. I don't see this as split as like a Karen Reed situation, but I don't think it's going to be that easy. Yeah,
I
Mandy,
like
we kind of talked about that too.
Yeah.
No, okay, listen. You think those are extensions too? Okay, I already talked about this. So everybody thinks that these gray hairs are like that she put them in there because it's just like that patch right up front. But I have proven this wrong. I have proven that theory wrong, and I'm not showing you right now. But I sent a picture to my friend of my gray hair that is like only right here. And my stylist is always like, it's really unfortunate that your hair comes in gray, like in straggles right there. And that's it because, I have to get my whole head done every time just for that. So yeah, I do think that I don't think that she put them in. I think she let them grow out. So I think that they are real, but I think it was purposeful that she did not color them over. That's so funny. But she's manipulative. I mean, and we talk about her clothing. Like she definitely played up the meek, oh, poor me situation. So yeah. Yeah. We just differ you two about the name. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you,
I
JC.
love
And
I
thank
love
you, Laura.
differences though, and
Yeah.
we've talked about this on past shows too. You can learn from people's differences. I'm a real believer that disagreements, we can all learn something from each other on disagreements. So, if we all thought the same way, it'd be kind of boring,
Yeah.
honestly. Yeah.
Sonia, don't make fun of tinsel hair, okay? Can't help it that we're getting old, all right? Oh my goodness. Now I'm gonna be like, I'm getting my hair done well, you can't see because I have the amazing light that like blurs everything. But maybe I'll have to DM you my picture of my grayness. It shows my wisdom and maturity. I don't know.
Hmm.
That's so funny. Oh man,
So,
guys, what else? We
I
don't
don't
have a
know.
verdict yet, so and not that
We
I know how to
don't.
put it up and stream it even if it came in, so that's,
Yeah.
beyond our pay grade, but nothing yet. So we're at
So
3 hours and 48 minutes of they got their pizza. They got their pizza and soda.
see, and I like this. I like the comment that Mandy just made. I think she'll
Yeah.
be found not guilty, but in my gut, I think she's smart and devious. That could very well be the case. I would not be surprised to see her walk away from
Mhm.
this. Again, I don't know.
Yeah.
Looking at the Border Patrol case from a couple of weeks ago, that was pretty weird. And she walked away.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. We've got
I
other
think
big,
yeah, I think she's smart and devious. I think that could go either way. I
yep.
don't
Yeah.
yeah.
And we kind of talked about that at the beginning, Mandy, before you joined us. I mean, it's pretty clear, excuse me, it's pretty clear that both people have issues. Both of the
Yes.
players in this have issues. So, which is not unusual in cases like this at all. So,
Yeah, I mean, look, they got to this place in their lives for a reason, and it's very typically not just one.
mhm, mhm.
Typically takes 2.
Yeah,
So,
totally.
yeah,
Sonia
yeah,
says, I do believe the Border Patrol. Yeah. I mean, that's another one. I kind of think that she knew the patterns. I do. And
yeah,
yeah, I don't think that's that far off, Sonia. Laura, are
yeah,
you talking about which Anthony? Are you talking Casey? No. Which Anthony are you talking about, Laura?
yeah, I don't know what Anthony case.
Yeah, I'm not sure which Anthony case you mean.
And yeah, Mandy, I don't know if that was her goal for murder, but I do think that it was her goal to keep the daughter away from him, absolutely. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
definitely.
Mm-hmm.
There was definitely for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. That last cry was real. Jay-Z, you're right. It was. I think so too. She did. She sat at the defense table after the closing arguments were done and
Mm-hmm.
she was crying. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, Casey Anthony. Not sure what you're
Casey
give,
Anthony. Yeah.
give me more information. What do you mean about
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, wait, Mandy, you're gonna have to you're gonna have to DM me a picture of the solid brown one length hair 1 week before trial. I need to see this. This is the great mystery of this trial, okay? So I need you to send me a picture of that. Send it to my DMs on Twitter. Um,
So I'm not positive on what Laura means on the Casey Anthony
yeah, I don't
piece.
either. I was waiting for that. It's okay.
Yeah, I guess I
Yeah,
can't
you
really
guys
address that.
totally. She didn't want this kid. I mean, the whole name change situation or the name situation, not on the birth certificate, keeping from her, not saying that um yeah, not saying that, telling him that she was born I mean, yeah, absolutely. That was one of her goals in life. Did she kill him because she wanted to end all of that? I
Mhm,
don't that's the part I don't know. I really don't
mhm.
know. I think
Yeah.
it's not a beyond reasonable doubt situation.
And Laura's saying the mom Casey was crazy. I mean, that's
Oh,
that's one of those. Yeah, that's one of those cases that I'm still honestly, Laura and Chad, I'm still flabbergasted that she got off on that.
telling
I
you, yeah.
yeah. I
That's one of
mean,
those things, like, people know where they were when JFK got shot, like, I know
yeah,
where I was when Casey Anthony verdict came in, and OJ, actually, I know where I was for
yeah.
both of those.
That
But,
that in
yeah.
my opinion, because there was a lot of evidence, some circumstantial, and I'm trying to remember. I'm sure there
Mhm.
was some physical evidence as well, but that was a pretty clear cut case, in my opinion, of
Absolutely.
Casey being guilty, and that comes down to honestly Jose Baez doing what a defense attorney does best, causing reasonable doubt, and so much smoke into that that the jury didn't know what to think, and there we go. And
I
I've
don't
seen
even
that.
I
Yeah.
don't even think there was reasonable doubt, but
Well, he
he
somehow
obviously did
swayed
a
the
good
jury
job.
is what I'm
Yeah, he
saying. Yeah,
did.
he
He
swayed
sure
him.
did.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Case I was on my way to the grocery store and I heard that the verdict came in and I literally pulled a Yui to get back into my neighborhood
Mhm,
to go home and watch what the
mhm.
verdict was, and I was like I was just I don't think I couldn't speak when they found her not guilty. I couldn't even believe it. It was
Yeah,
unbelievable.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, Mandy.
yeah,
Yeah, they couldn't prove it. Cause of
yeah.
death, yep, and they didn't have any premeditation. Yeah, they just it's too circumstantial, but
Mhm, mhm.
oh, man, that was tough. Well, thank you guys. Thank you guys for being here. I
Thank
will
you,
wait for
guys.
the pictures. No rush, Mandy, on the brown hair pictures, but I do need to see this because if I'm proven wrong, I need to know. I need to know, and I need to take back my picture to my friend of my gray hair. So,
Mhm. We really appreciate you guys
yeah,
being here, and thank you to all of our international visitors that show up so
yeah.
late.
Thank
We
you,
really
thank
appreciate
you.
you guys. Yeah, yeah. This was a really good chat, and
Yeah,
we will be back here soon. We've got a lot of really wild trials coming up, you guys.
we do. And I'm
So
going to be on vacation for a bit. I don't know if Scott will be jumping on here without me.
I will. Yeah, I probably
Okay,
will.
cool.
So Rachel, I don't know the answer to this. When does
Yeah.
Sarah Boone start? I can't remember.
Let me tell you. So
Okay.
she was just in court a couple days ago again. Um, and she was, talking to the judge about the fact that she has to it's August 5th. So she was talking about the
Oh my gosh, that soon?
well, it's just for like an
Oh, a
update. So
hearing. Okay.
so she's going to be asking apparently for counsel again and for money to pay investigators. I don't yes. Oh, Sonia, did you not see my video? We are covering in many ways Sarah Boone. Sarah Boone might make an appearance on here. I keep trying to convince Scott to have her on our show. But it might just be me in a wig. So, yeah, on 8/5. Oh, the judge filed a 19-page letter in oh, wait, one from her. 2 more letters? I can't wait. Okay, wait, guys. If you didn't see my video that I did as Sarah Boone, I'm just gonna give you a quick peek. You can find it on my Twitter page. I made a Sarah Boone ad to-do list for the judge. Oh, wait, who was your attorney's suggestion for Sarah? You said something. I can't remember. I can't remember what you said, Jay-Z.
I missed that, Jay-Z. Who's
Oh,
your
and her 5 motions. Oh gosh, yeah. Okay. I'm gonna have to so I don't know if you guys are on Discord or not, but if you are on Discord, which Scott, I think your last question to me is what is Discord?
I think that was my last
It's just
question.
it's too much. I don't know how to explain what it is, but if there's if you're on Discord already, I'm not going to explain it to you because I don't know how. There is a server called Seeking Justice. It's run by Dizzy and some others, and literally every single case you can imagine for the rest of the year and next year is listed on here and has every single um, media link and every single document and every single case. It's so cool. So, yeah, it can be complicated. It's not now that I know how to use it, but it's too complicated to explain. Oh, the dog lawyer that crawls. Yes.
Oh, I get it now. Okay.
There's a lawyer. There was what was her name? I can't think of it. It's this lawyer that like in this dog attack case got on the ground as a dog to interact to like reenact what happened. Yes. Yes, that's a very good one.
Wow.
Um, oh, really? Okay, so Mandy, I'm gonna have to check this out. Guess I know what I'm doing on this rockin' weekend is gonna be reading Sarah Boone documents. Okay, we're gonna wrap
All
it up,
right.
guys. Sorry to keep you. Very fun, as in bounty hunter. No, I'll show it to you, Scott. It's really funny.
I'm a little slow on the take, you know?
It's okay. It's a video she posted. I'll have to show it. Okay.
All
So
right, you guys.
we'll be back soon. We'll see
Thanks,
you guys
everyone.
then.
You
All right,
guys have a great
bye.
night. Take care. Bye.